Osho, The Messiah, Volume 2, Reflections on Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, given at the Osho Commune International, Pune, India. Discourse number 3.
Commentaries by Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh on Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. Beloved Bhagwan. And the priestess spoke again and said, "Speak to us of reason and passion." And he answered, saying, "Your soul is oftentimes a battlefield, on which your reason and your judgment wage war against your passion and your appetite. Would that I could be peacemaker in your soul, that I might turn the discord and the rivalry of your elements into oneness and melody. But how shall I, unless you yourselves be also the peacemakers, nay, the lovers of all your elements? Your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. If either your sails or your rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift, or else be held at a standstill in mid-seas. For reason, ruling alone, is a force confining, and passion, unattended, is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Therefore, let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion, that it may sing, and let it direct your passion with reason, that your passion may live through its own daily resurrection, and like the phoenix, rise above its own ashes. I would have you consider your judgment and your appetite, even as you would two loved guests in your house. Surely you would not honor one guest above the other, for he who is more mindful of one loses the love and the faith of both. Among the hills, when you sit in the cool shade of the white poplars, sharing the peace and serenity of distant fields and meadows, then let your heart say in silence, God rests in reason. And when the storm comes, and the mighty wind shakes the forest, and thunder and lightning proclaim the majesty of the sky, then let your heart say in awe, God moves in passion. And since you are a breath in God's sphere, and a leaf in God's forest, you too should rest in reason and move in passion.
Humanity has not suffered more than because we have lived into division. Man is one organic whole. This has to be your fundamental understanding that there is no way to cut any of your path and yet remain blissful. Yes, all those parts have to be brought in a harmonious whole, just like an orchestra. So many people are playing on different instruments, and if they don't know how all those different instruments should melt and be one in one music, then there is not going to be music at all. Only noise It will not be soothing to your soul, but a disturbance. But man's whole history is the history of divisions. Discard this, discard that, and just cling to one part of your being. You will remain in misery, because bliss is born out when all your parts are dancing together in a deep harmony, without any conflict. Why man created this schizophrenic state of mind? It is not without reason. Those who want to dominate you, those who want to exploit you, those who want you to remain enslaved forever, this is their device. A man who is whole cannot be oppressed, cannot be exploited, and cannot be reduced into a slave. And there are people whose only ambition is for power. Power seems to be their only cause for living. Friedrich Nietzsche died in a madhouse. It is an unfortunate thing, because while doctors were declaring him mad, priests were declaring him mad, his own friends and family was declaring him mad. He has written his greatest book in the madhouse. The name of the book is The Will to Power. Looking at the book and its greatness, anyone can see that all those people who forced him into the madhouse were simply trying to get rid of someone whose each word was an they were not able to bear the height of his being. They wanted him to be completely forgotten and ignored. Certainly he was not mad. Otherwise, the greatest book of his life cannot be written in the madhouse. He himself never saw the book published. It was published posthumously. I have looked into all his work. It seems in The Will to Power, he has put everything together that was scattered in many books of his writings. And each statement is so pregnant that it is impossible for a madman to write. It is so logical, so profound, that if you are ready to read it without any prejudice, you will be amazed that one of the best books in the world was written by a madman in a madhouse. His only fault was that he was not obedient to the society or its out-of-date disciplines, rotten rules. His simple crime was that he was an individual in his own right, and the slaves cannot tolerate a man who knows freedom and lives freedom. His actions and his words are out of freedom, but the slaves feel irritated, annoyed, because they cannot even understand what he is saying. He is shouting from a hilltop to the people who are creeping in the dark valleys of their so-called comfort. They are in majority. And this man is disturbing them on each point that they have been clinging as wisdom. He is proving it is their stupidity. Khalil Gibran was immensely impressed by Friedrich Nietzsche. In his work, The Will to Power, he has opened the heart of humanity. Why there is no music, but only misery? And the reason is that the priests of all religions, politicians of all kinds of ideologies, are so desirous of power that they don't want the humanity to listen to a man who is talking of unity, inner harmony, being undivided, one and whole. Yes, there are going to be changes, because things in your being have been put by the society in such a way that you are in a mess. The servant has become the master is being treated as a servant. The heart cannot shout, it only whispers. the mind shouting loudly completely makes it impossible for the heart to give his message to you. These are very important statements Khalil Gibran is making through the mouth of a fictitious mystic, poet and philosopher Al-Mustafa. I have been always wondering why he has chosen to speak indirectly. And my feeling is absolutely clear about it. He did not want to suffer the same fate Friedrich Nietzsche suffered. Nobody is serious about poetry. Friedrich Nietzsche, although writes prose, but his prose is so beautiful that you can call it poetry. But he is speaking directly to humanity. Al-Mustafa creates a fiction. Khalil Gibran is never declared mad, is never forced to live in a madhouse for the simple reason that he is only a fiction writer, at the most a composer of poems. He has secured himself by hiding behind Al-Mustafa. I want you to remember whatever Al-Mustafa is saying are the words of Khalil Gibran. And the priestess spoke again and said, "Speak to us of reason and passion, of mind and of heart, of logic and of love." Centuries man has thought them as opposed to each other. He has been told by the vested interests that if you listen to both, you are going to be mad. They are contradictory. You will have to choose. Those who choose reason have all the opportunities to be powerful in the world, but empty inside. Those rare souls who choose passion love, the heart are aflame inside with beauty, blissfulness, fragrance, but on the outside they have no power. The priestess is asking one of the fundamental questions. Speak to us of reason and passion. What is your approach about these two things? Both exist in man, and both appear, at least superficially, contradictory. A choice has to be made. Otherwise, man will be riding on two horses. And the ultimate result cannot be but a disaster. She was not aware Khalil Gibran has a far more deeper insight than the priests and the priestesses, the politicians, and the people who have power, either of money or of prestige. And he answered saying, your soul is oftentimes a battlefield. Because you have never gone to the roots of your being. Reason says one thing, and the heart longs for something else. And whatever you choose, you will suffer. You will remain miserable, because half of your being will remain starved, hungry, and slowly, the distance between the two will become so great, as if you have been cut by an electric saw in two parts. These split people are fighting within themselves. They have become a battlefield. This is a strategy, a very cunning strategy, that if a man is put in a situation where he is fighting with himself, he has neither energy nor time to revolt against the slavery, against the oppression, against exploitation. His inner fight has made him so weak that anybody can dominate him. It is a subtle way of psychological castration. Man has been made impotent with a very clever device. But if you are together and one, you have the integrity, individuality, energy to fight against anything that wants to destroy your freedom. And if the whole humanity has that integrity, dictators will disappear. Politicians have no place in a right human society. In a cultured society, what is the need of laws, courts, the judges, the police commissioners? They lose all their power. Not to lose the power, they have to keep you divided. Nietzsche spoke directly and suffered for it. Nietzsche is one of the greatest sacrifices humanity has made because of the power-hungry people. But they are not bothered about Khalil Gibran. People will read him as a poet. A beautiful entertainment, but nothing more. Your soul is oftentimes a battlefield upon which your reason and your judgment wage war against your passion and your appetite. Would that I could be the peacemaker in your soul, that I might turn the discard and the rivalry of your elements into oneness and melody. But how shall I, unless you yourself be also the peacemakers, nay, the lovers of all your elements? Whatever is given to you by existence cannot be without a hidden purpose. You have vision. The reason has eyes. Capacity to think, find out the right path, you have the heart and all its passions. But the heart knows how to sing, how to dance, how to love. The heart cannot create science and technology. Neither the reason can create love, peace, silence. All the qualities that make you transcend ordinary humanity. The heart can give you the wings for transcendence. And a flight of the other to the other. The heart is the door. God can be found. Reason is absolutely incapable. It can create money, it can create thousands of other objective things, but it has no capacity to enter into your inner world There is no need for any conflict. Reason functions in the objective world and the heart functions in the subjective world. And if you are alert, meditative, you can easily manage a balance between the two. I have called your heart the Zorba. And the flights of your intelligence, which is nothing but refined energy of reason. Gautama, the Buddha. Until now, Zorba and Buddha are fighting. Both are losers. Because the Buddha does not allow total freedom for Zorba. Neither the Zorba allows Buddha. Any life of his own. So there have been Zorbas in the world. All their smile, all their joy is without any depth. It is not even skin deep. And there have been Buddhas whose joy is profound, deep, but there is a constant disturbance from the Zorba, because the Zorba does not want to starve. And there is no difficulty to bring them closer, to create a friendship between the two, and finally, the deep oneness. There is an ancient story, two beggars. One was crippled, could not walk, and the other was blind, but could walk. And of course, they were competitors. Begging is a business that there is continuous competition. You don't know which is the beggar who owns you. When I came to know this, it was a great surprise. Because I was traveling continuously, I was coming and going to the railway station so many times. An old beggar has become accustomed. In fact, he has started taking it for granted that whenever I come back from the journey or go for a journey, he is entitled to have 1 rupee each time. In the beginning, he used to be grateful. When I first time gave him 1 rupee, he could not believe. Indians don't give to beggars rupees. But slowly, everything becomes taken for granted. Now it was not a question of gratitude, it was a routine. And I could see from his eyes that if I don't give him the rupee, he will be angry. I am depriving him of 1 rupee. I never deprived him, but one day I was surprised. The old man was gone, and the young man was sitting in his place, and he said, "Don't forget that 1 rupee." I said, "How you came to know about the 1 rupee?" He said, "You don't know. I got married to that old beggar's daughter." Still I could not understand that if you got married, where is the old man? He said he has given the whole area of railway station as a dowry to me. And he has given me all the names. And your name is the first name. You have been giving him 1 rupee each time, whether you enter in the railway station or you come out. I said, this is a revelation. That beggars have their territories. They own it. They can give it as a dowry to their son-in-laws. I said, this is great. Where is the old man? He said he has found another place near a hospital. Because the beggar who used to sit there has died. And he looks old, but he is very strong man. Nobody wants to fight with him. Beggars are also in continuous conflict to own the clients, customers. Both these beggars were born enemies. But one day they lived outside the town in the forest. In the middle of the night, the forest got on fire. There was nobody to save them. The crippled knew that the fire is coming closer and closer. All the trees are going to be burned. But he cannot walk. And the blind man felt intense heat arising, and this was for the first time they spoke to each other in friendly terms. But what is happening? You have eyes, you can see. And they came to a compromise, forgetting all their fight of the past. The blind man said to the crippled one that you sit over my shoulders so that we become one man. I have enough strength to carry you, and you have eyes to see where to go, where to find a way out of this constantly increasing fire. And they both were sick. The whole town was awake, and they were worried about the beggars, but nobody was courageous enough to enter into the forest to find out where they are. They knew that one cannot walk. They knew the other cannot see. But they had not thought of the possibility that the both can become one. And when they saw them coming out of the forest alive, they could not believe their eyes. What a miracle has happened. This is an old, very old story. India has one of the most ancient books of parables, Panch-tantra. From Panch-tantra comes this story. And this is the story of you, about you. The house is on fire. Death is coming closer. But you are not yet one solid individual. You are a battlefield inside yourself. The reason can see. Alone seeing is not of much help. The heart can feel. But alone feeling is not much of help. Is it possible that seeing and feeling are no more competitors, but join into an adventure for the search of the meaning of life? That's what Khalil Gibran is saying, that I know the remedy, but unless you yourself be also peacemakers, nay, the lovers of all your elements, this miracle is not possible. Hence, I have been proclaiming the new man as Zorba the Buddha, which is the meeting of East and West, which is the meeting of science and religion, which is the meeting of logic and love, which is the meeting of the outer and the inner. And only in these meetings you will find peace. Otherwise you will remain a battlefield. If you are miserable, remember the misery is arising out of an inner battle that goes on day in, day out. There have been great Zorbas in the world. Eat, drink, and be merry is their simple philosophy. There is no life beyond death. God is nothing but an invention of cunning priests. Don't waste your time on unnecessary things. Life is sad. In India, we have a whole philosophy. The system of the Charvakas. Perhaps Charvaka is the most articulate Zorba. And if you try to understand him, he is very convincing. There is no evidence, no eyewitness of any God or any life after death. There is no evidence or proof that you have an immortal soul. Don't get caught into these words which have been created just to create a conflict in you. So you can become Christians, Hindus, Jainas, Buddhists, Mohammedans. And India has known also great Buddhas. They say the world is illusory. All that is true is inner, and all that is untrue is outside. So don't waste your time in desires, in ambitions, They are nothing but the same stuff as dreams are made of. Use the small time that you have in your hands to go as deep inside as possible so that you can find the temple of God, your godliness. If you listen to the Buddhas, they seem to be convincing. If you listen to the Zorbas, they seem to be convincing. And then you are in trouble. Because you have both within you. And I want you to be a peacemaker, not a battlefield. Let there be a deep friendship between your reason and your passion, so that you can enjoy what is available on the outside, and much is available. It is not illusory. Because the actions of the Buddhas prove it. They need food, it does not grow inside. They need water, they have to seek and find it outside. And still they go on saying all that is outside is illusory. And the Zorbas, although pose that they are only living on the outside, are simply unreasonable. Because the outside can exist only if there is an inside. They are inseparable. Have you seen something which has only outside and no inside? Have you seen a coin which has only one side? Howsoever thin you make it, both the sides will remain together. The first step to understand the most significant approach is to relax and be in love with your body, with your heart. Don't create any conflict. Bring them closer, because centuries have made them so unbridgeable. As they come closer and become one, you will not be just a Zorba or just a Buddha. You will be Zorba the Buddha. You will be a total man. And in your totality is beauty. Is bliss. Is truth. Your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. When you have understood their unity and they are no more in conflict, suddenly you will see a new space arising in you. You will see your soul. Now that there is no conflict in your body, your reason, your heart, you have time, silence, and space to see something of the beyond, the soul. You are basically a triangle: reason, heart, and soul. But very few people have reached to the soul. Because the battlefield continues. You don't have any time to explore. The Zorba goes on pulling you outside, and the Buddha goes on pulling you inside. It is a strange struggle that has been imposed on you by all those who want you to be weak, who want you to be without souls, just machines, robots. He is saying your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. If either your sails or your rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift. And that's what almost the whole humanity is doing. Toss and drift. Or else be held at a standstill in mid-seas. That is a kind of death before death. For reason ruling alone is a force confining. Reason has its limits. It cannot accept that which is limitless. And passion, unattended, is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Your passion is your fire. Fire of your life. But unattended, unlistened, ignored, the fire is going to destroy itself. The same fire could have been used by reason to destroy the limits, to burn the limited imprisonment, and you would have the whole sky for you. Therefore, let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion. Passion knows no limits. Your energy is a source inexhaustible, because your energy is the energy of the whole universe. Let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion, that it may sing. And blessed is the man whose reason starts singing and dancing, because the reason knows only curiosity, doubt, questioning. It does not know anything about singing, dancing, celebrating. Those belong to your heart. But your soul, your awareness makes them together. They will become partners in a dance, partners in a song, so deeply in tune that all their duality disappears. To me, this appearance of duality is the beginning of a new life, without any conflict, without any battlefield. Your life starts beginning to become the garden of Eden. All your energies are enough to create a paradise within you. It has been told to you that you if follow certain conditions as a Christian or a Hindu or a Mohammedan, you will enter into paradise. But I say to you, you never enter paradise. It is paradise which enters in you the moment the battlefield has disappeared and your heart and your reasons are dancing in tune. The paradise is waiting for the moment when it can enter. In this joy, silence and peace, paradise has to come to you. The whole idea of you going to paradise is nonsense. There is no paradise outside you, and there is no hell outside you. You are living in hell when you are in conflict, fighting with yourself. and the heaven is in you, when there's absolute silence and a song arises in your being of totality, of organic unity, and let it direct your passion with reason, that your passion may live through its own daily resurrection. What Khalil Gibran is saying, never forget it, because these are not only words, they are seeds which can transform you into a beautiful garden, where birds will start singing, flowers will start opening, and paradise is waiting for that moment to knock on your door, that I have come, you are ready. What he is saying is that the first thing is that reason should be raised by you, your awareness, to the height of passion, that it may sing. And the second thing is more important, and let it direct your passion with reason, so you are not lost in a blind groping. And on the heights, having no eyes is very dangerous. Then it is better to remain in the valley with all other blind people. Even if you fall, you will not die. Maybe a scratch, or maybe a fracture, but not death. But let it direct your passion. Let your reason become the eyes of your heart. And then you will come to know what Christians say. After the crucifixion, there was resurrection. It may not be, perhaps it is not a historical fact, but it has a deep psychological and spiritual depth. Each moment your passion dies, because the passion knows nothing of the past and nothing of the future. Those are the accumulations of the reason. The passion knows only this moment. Each moment it dies, and if directed with the eyes of reason, each moment there will be a resurrection. It will die, and it will be reborn fresher, younger, better, more refined. And like the phoenix rise above its own ashes. The mythological bird phoenix a way of telling to you that you should learn to die each moment and be born again each moment. Your life should be a continuous death and a continuous resurrection, so that you remain fresh to the very last breath. Otherwise, dust goes on gathering, and you die almost 30, 40 years before, when people will understand that this fellow is dead. The hippies used to say that never believe a man who has passed the age of 30. Because almost at the age of 30 or nearby, a person dies. And then he lives for 40 years, 50 years, a posthumous life, because resurrection does not happen. But hippies were only a reaction. That's why you don't find any old hippie. They all have died at the age of 30. Now they are living their posthumous life in the marketplace very efficiently. They have forgotten all about that. It was just a dream. That every young man has to pass through. Now they laugh about it is nothing but a fading memory. I have been in search of an old hippie. I have been not successful. Old hippies don't exist. For the simple reason, because they don't know that it is not a question of reacting against the society. It is a question of inner transformation and learning the alchemy, how to die peacefully and allow the energy to resurrect, just like the word phoenix on its own essence. That is one of the most powerful and meaningful metaphor. I have not come across another metaphor that is so significant and so strong. It is the whole philosophy of religion. Dying and being reborn, you remain always fresh. You remain always in a flow. You don't just grow old, you grow up. Growing old is not a great quality. All animals grow old, all trees grow old. Only man has the privilege, the prerogative that he can grow up and can remain as fresh and young even in the old age as he was fresh and young when he was below the age of 30, full of dreams of the beyond. Even on the deathbed, he is not said that he is going to leave this earth, but on the contrary, immensely excited for the new pilgrimage that is going to start, because he knows no death is a death. Every death is a resurrection too. But this becomes a truth only when your reason and your passion are together, when your Zorba and your Buddha are not fighting, but hugging each other. I would have you consider your judgment and your appetite even as you would two loved guests in your house. Surely you would not honor one guest above the other, for he who is more mindful of one loses the love and the faith of both. I have heard about a man who was in love with two women. And both the women wanted an assurance, a security that be honest and say whom you are going to marry. And it was difficult for the poor man, because the woman who was very beautiful was very poor, and the woman who was just homely was immensely rich. And all those riches were going to be his. You can understand his dilemma. They had gone in a boat just to enjoy the sea and the sun. Suddenly the rich woman told him, "Stop the boat here in the middle of the ocean, and I cannot wait anymore. You have to make the decision. Tell us whom you love." And the man must have been very intelligent. He said, "What kind of question you are asking? I love each of you more than the other. And both the women were immensely satisfied. Among the hills, when you sit in the cool shade of the white poplars, sharing the peace and serenity of distant fields and meadows, then let your heart stay in silence. God, rest in reason. And when the storm comes and the mighty wind shakes the forest, and thunder and lightning proclaim the majesty of the sky, then let your heart stay in awe. God moves in passage. And since you are a breath in God's sphere and a leaf in God's forest, you too should rest in reason and move in passage. This is the greatest synthesis which man needs and needs immediately. Because the whole humanity of the past have missed this synthesis, this synchronicity. But I want my people to enjoy God in every possible situation. When it is day, God is light, and when it is night, God is darkness. Don't create any conflict. And once you are no more a battlefield, you have become a temple, and you are not going to purchase a statue of God to enshrine in the temple. The living God has always entered into the being of man, who has turned into a holy place, who has become sacred. You have all the elements that are needed. You have all the possibilities that are required. If you miss, nobody else will be responsible for it except you. And God is just waiting on the door. But you are in such a mess that who would like to enter inside? And even if He knocks on your door, you cannot listen. There is so much going on, so much fight. That the small knock on the door, you are not going to listen. And there is no strong electric button on your door. that God should go on pushing it, he still uses the old human way of knocking with his own hand. That gives him the idea whether you are prepared or not, whether you are ready to receive him or not. Have you become a host that he can become a guest? Okay, then.
Yes, Bhagwan.